Hello queens. I'm back at y'all with another client tutorial, and today I'm showing y'all how I created this beautiful abstract look, and we're jumping straight into the video. I'm starting it off by cleaning my client's face. Now that her face is all clean, we're gonna jump right into doing her eyebrows. So as you can see, I'm just brushing them in place, and then I'm gonna go in with my Nicka K eyebrow pencil. It's either in the shade black or black brown, but judging by this video, it's probably in the shade black. As you can see, I'm just outlining the natural shape of her brows, and I like to outline both of the brows first just to try to get them as symmetrical as possible. Now that both of the brows have been outlined, I'm going to start filling in all the sparse areas. I like to apply the pencil a little light-handed when it comes to the front of the brows. You never want them to look too dark, plus it makes it easier to blend into the back. I'm going in with some clear eyelash glue, and I'm using this to lay her brow hairs down in place. I like to just go in with a generous amount, and then before it dries, I quickly go in with my spoolie and just mold the hairs down. I'm going in with these two Nicka K concealers in the shades 03 and 07, and I'm going to use these to clean up her eyebrows. First, I'm going in with the shade 03, and I'm using it to clean up underneath her arch. Now I'm just going in with the shade 07, and I'm using it to clean up the remainder of the way on the top and the bottom of her eyebrows. I'm going in with some of my RCMA no color powder, and I'm using this to lighten up the front of her brows and to also set the concealer around her brows in place. For an eyeshadow base, I'm going in with my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and this is in the shade Fair Rose. I like to use the matte concealer because when I tell y'all, this is the perfect eyeshadow primer. Like, it dries fast and it does not move. You do not have to set it with powder because it's very matte, y'all, okay? To start this eyeshadow look off, I'm going in with this red shade from my Lick and Lash Spice palette, and I'm just applying this on the very outer edge of her eye, y'all. I wanted this to have like a slanted look, so that's why I chose to apply the eyeshadow to the edge. Now I'm going in with this orange shade from my Bperfect Carnival XL palette, and I'm just going to apply this all around the edges of the red. Lastly, for my transitions, I decided to go in with a yellow shade. This also comes from my Bperfect Carnival XL palette, and it is in the color Keen. I'm just going to be applying this all around each shade that I use just to make sure the edges are nice and blended. I'm going back in with a little bit more of that orange eyeshadow just to further blend out the edges. And then I decided to deepen up her crease a little bit. So I'm going in with this deep plum shade. This comes from my Lick and Lash Spice palette, and it's in the color Rocky. You can use dark brown or black if you would like that as well. But as you can see, I'm just applying this on the edge of her lash line. Now I'm just going in and I'm highlighting the inner corners of her eyes. I was going for a peach shade, but this came off more pink than I was liking, so I decided to go on top of it with a yellow eyeshadow, and that kind of got it to the tone that I was going for. Now I'm going in with this liquid lipstick, and I'm using this to cut out her cut crease. I'm cutting her crease a little lower than the actual crease that is in her eye. We're going to leave the top blank, and this is going to serve as our accent line. And for the cut crease, I'm not going to go all the way out. I'm only going to cut through the inner corners of her eyes. Y'all, this look was actually very easy to do, and I freestyled this whole thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just going step by step, and I think it came out so bomb. It took me about an hour and a half to film this video. I feel like if I actually knew what look I wanted to do, this would probably take me only an hour or an hour and 15 minutes to do in the real world. But now, as you can see, I'm just blending out the edges of the liquid lipstick. I'm going in with some matte white eyeshadow, and I'm using it to set the accent line in place. Once I have it all set, I'm just going to be going back in with my eyeshadow brushes and using it to wipe away the excess eyeshadow that fell. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut the other eye. I'm going in with some black eyeshadow, and I'm adding it to the inner corner of her cut crease just to deepen it up. Yeah, I know it can't be me if I'm not going in with crystals, glitter, or a pigment. So I'm taking these crystals, and I'm just going to be gluing 3 of them onto her accent line. This next step is optional, but I like to do it just to ensure that the lashes are blending easier into the eyeshadow. Just going in with a thin line of black liquid liner. I'm going in with some black eyeshadow, and I'm using it to blend out the edge of her liner. Moving on to the face, I'm going in with some Pond's moisturizer, and I'm just going to use this to hydrate her skin. I'm going on top of that moisturizer with some of my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Last but not least, I'm going in with some Calamine lotion to help with oil and sweat control. I'm going in with some of my Nicka K concealer in the shade number 10, and I'm just using this to balance out her skin tone before we get into the foundation. For her foundation, I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the shade Spicy Brown. To highlight her face, I'm going to be using both of my Nicka K concealers in the shades 03 and 07. I'm going in with my foundation brush and I'm using it to blend out the concealer. I'm going to allow the concealer to sit a little longer and just sculpt out her nose. And to do so, I'm using my Juvia's Place foundation stick. The shade name will be in the description box. For this video, I only decided to sculpt out her nose. Normally, I sculpt out her cheekbones and the jawline as well, but I wanted the eyes to be the main focus and I wanted the face to be kind of soft. Now I'm just going to go ahead and finish blending out the concealer underneath her eyes. I'm setting the concealer using my Fenty loose powder in the shade Honey. And I actually did this by accident, y'all. I went for the wrong powder. Y'all know I love using my Morphe one. But this actually came out better than I expected. I'm not going to lie. The only thing I have to say about the Fenty powder, it is a little thicker than the Morphe one. But it does have like a smooth, well, it does create like a smooth canvas. And I like that, y'all. So, yeah, I'm just going in and setting her face with this. And to lighten the powder up, I did go in with a thin layer of my RCMA no color powder. I'm taking my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark Deep, and I'm going to be using this as her bronzer. I'm going in and I'm adding some blush to the apples of her cheeks. I'm using my Juvia's Place blush, and I like to go for an orange and a burgundy tone. I'm going in with this Fit Me pressed powder in the shade Truffle, and I'm using this to set the remaining areas of her face. I'm taking some black gel liner on a disposable lip wand, and I'm using this to line her waterline. To smoke out her lower lash line, I'm just going in with the eyeshadows that I used on the top of her eyes, specifically my transition shades, and I'm just going to be applying them to her lower lash line. I'm going to go ahead and sweep away all of the powder, and I like to go in with my foundation brush and also press on the skin just to ensure that I don't get any flashback from the powder. I like to make sure that all that powder is either swept away or just pressed into her face. I'm going in with my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I'm going to use this to set her face in place. While her face is drying, I'm going to go ahead and apply her lashes. I'm going to highlight her face while the lashes are drying. You want to make sure that you hit the highest point of those cheeks, okay? You need to highlight those cheeks wherever the light reflects off her face. And then I'm just going to take a little and apply it to her nose. And last but not least, we're moving on to the lips. I'm going in with the cream foundation, and I'm using it to outline her lips. I'm going in with this nude liquid lipstick, and I'm just going to focus it in the center of her lips and try to blend it into the liner that we used. And as you can see, I went on top of it with this light pink lip gloss, and I'm going to have her press her lips together to help me blend everything out. Once I'm finished blending out her lips, that'll be the finished look, and we'll be stepping into the grand reveal. So I'm gonna let y'all watch.
Okay, don't give me that finger.
You ready? You ready to see?
I'm ready to see. Yeah. She was a favorite.
Yeah.
This is giving. I don't know.
I don't know
what goes with the hair though.
You know what it's giving? Hot girl. You need to be outside.
Meg.
It's giving hot girl.
They were like, "What's your name, Meg?"
Tell them they call you Tina Snow.
Oh.
That's what she calls herself, Tina Snow.
Yeah, definitely Tina Snow.
Okay, queens, this is the end of the video, and as y'all can see by my client's reaction, this tutorial was another success. Y'all, get into the eyeshadow, get into the blend. I think this look came out bomb, and this is honestly one of the best freestyle looks that I've ever done. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next one. Bye bye, queens.